When Kobe Bryant found Marcus Webb, he was 23 years old and working the early shift at a logistics warehouse in Compton, loading trucks from 4 in the morning until noon, and then taking 2 buses to a community college where he was finishing the last semester of an associate degree in business administration. Kobe had been looking for him for 4 months. The search had started the way these things sometimes start, with a small memory that surfaces unexpectedly while you are doing something else entirely. Kobe had been sitting in a car outside an arena in Phoenix before a game, watching the parking lot fill up, and he had remembered a boy, not a man. A boy maybe 8 years old with a wooden kit and a serious face, who had set up outside the players' entrance at the Forum on a Saturday morning in 2001 and asked if he could shine Kobe's shoes. The question was never whether Marcus deserved to be found. He deserved it, the way people deserve things they have earned through consistency over time, which is completely and without qualification. The question was, what 15 years does to a boy with a wooden kit and a serious face? And whether the answer to that question was the kind of answer that called for someone to do something about it. Nobody. Not Kobe. Not Marcus. Not the logistics supervisor who watched Marcus load trucks with the same focused efficiency he had brought to everything since he was 8 years old. Could have predicted what a parking lot memory in Phoenix was going to set in motion. Kobe had been 22 years old. In 2001, the Forum was already aging that year. The Lakers had moved to the Staples Center, but still used the old building for some things. And on a Saturday morning in March, Kobe had arrived early, the way he always arrived early. And there was a boy outside the players' entrance with a wooden shoeshine kit that was too big for him to carry comfortably, but which he carried without complaint. The boy had looked up at Kobe with the expression of someone conducting a business transaction and said, "I can shine those before you go in." And Kobe had looked at the kit and then at the boy and said how much. And the boy had said $2. And Kobe had sat down on the step, and the boy had gone to work. He was good at it. Not good for a child. Good in the absolute sense. Methodical and thorough. And he worked without talking, which Kobe respected. He applied the polish and worked it in with a brush, and then buffed it out. And the result was better than what Kobe got from most professionals. When he finished, Kobe gave him a 20, and the boy had looked at the bill and then at Kobe and said, "I only have $12 change," and Kobe said, "Keep it." And the boy said, "I don't take tips." And Kobe had looked at him for a long moment, because he had not expected that answer from anyone, let alone from a child with a shoeshine kit. The boy had given him back $18, counted out carefully from a zippered pouch, and said, $2 was the price, and I charged you $2, and that was it. He had picked up his kit and moved along the entrance to the next arrival. Kobe had thought about that boy periodically over the years. The seriousness of him. The counting out of the $18. The "I don't take tips." Said not with pride, but with the plain conviction of someone who had decided something and was not interested in reconsidering it. He had never gotten the boy's name, and by the time he thought to ask, the boy had moved on, and the moment had passed. 15 years later, sitting in a parking lot in Phoenix, he had decided to find him. His investigator. Daniel Reeves took 4 months working through community records and school enrollment data from the Inglewood and Compton areas, cross-referencing ages and family situations, and the specific geography of a boy who would have been shining shoes outside the Forum on a Saturday in 2001. which narrowed things considerably and eventually produced a name and an address, and a brief summary that Kobe read twice before he called his foundation director, Marcus Webb. 23 years old, warehouse worker, community college student, lived with his mother in Compton. His father had not been in the picture since Marcus was 6. His mother worked nights at a care facility, and Marcus had been working since he was 8 years old, shining shoes outside venues around the Los Angeles area, saving money with the specific purpose of paying for college, which he had enrolled in at 21 and was now finishing on schedule. Kobe had sat with that summary. For a long time, he asked his director to arrange a meeting and told her to tell Marcus only that someone wanted to speak with him about a community foundation opportunity. He did not want Marcus to know who was coming because he wanted to see his face when he found out, and because after 15 years of thinking about a boy who gave back $18, he felt he had earned the right to that moment. They met at a coffee shop in Inglewood on a Thursday afternoon. Marcus arrived 3 minutes early, which Kobe noticed, and sat at the table his director had reserved. And when Kobe walked in, Marcus stood up, the way you stand up when someone important enters a room, and then he went completely still. "You're Kobe Bryant," he said. "I am Kobe," said, and sat down. Marcus sat back down slowly. "The Forum," he said, 2001. "You remember?" Kobe said, "I charged you $2. Marcus said, "You gave me 20. "I remember." Kobe said, "You gave me back 18. Marcus looked at him. "I don't take tips," he said. And then he almost smiled, and it was the same expression the boy had had in 2001, which was not pride, but conviction. Settled so deep, it had become simply the way things were. They talked for 2 hours. Marcus told him about the shoeshine business, which he had run from age 8 to age 14, outside venues and at community events and in the parking lots of churches on Sunday mornings. He had kept records in a notebook. Every job, the date, the amount charged, the amount received. He had saved $11,000 over 6 years and put it in an account. His mother had helped him open, and he had used it for community college. Tuition and books, and the bus passes that got him to class. Kobe listened to all of this with the attention he gave to things that mattered. "Why college?" Kobe asked. Marcus looked at him. "Because it's the next thing he said." And then he paused and said, "I want to run something. I want to build something. And I need to understand how things work first." "What do you want to build?" Kobe said. Marcus was quiet for a moment, the way he had been quiet working the polish into the leather in 2001. The quiet of someone thinking, not the quiet of someone stalling a logistics company. He said, "I know that work. I know it from the inside. I know what it costs the workers. And I know where the inefficiencies are, and I know how it could be run better, and I want to run it better." Kobe looked at him. "The associate degree isn't enough for that," Kobe said. "I know. Marcus said I'm applying to transfer programs right now, 4-year business programs. I need a scholarship because the money is gone." Kobe looked at the table for a moment. The foundation has a relationship with a workforce development organization. He said they fund transfers for students in exactly your situation. And then he said, "I'd also like to introduce you to someone, a man who runs a mid-sized logistics operation here in Los Angeles, who I think would benefit from meeting you as much as you would benefit from meeting him." Marcus looked at him steadily. "Why?" he said. Not suspiciously. just directly. The same directness he had brought to the $2 in 2001. "Because you gave me back $18, Kobe said, "when you were 8 years old, and I have been thinking about that for 15 years, and I want to know what happens next for the person who did that." Marcus was quiet. That was a long time ago. He said some things you don't forget. Kobe said, "The transfer scholarship was arranged within 3 weeks. Marcus enrolled in a 4-year business program at Cal State Dominguez Hills the following semester and reduced his warehouse hours to part-time. The introduction to the logistics company owner, whose name was Gerald Park, happened over a lunch that Kobe did not attend because it was not his meeting to be in. Gerald Park called Kobe afterward and said, 'Where did you find this person?' And Kobe said, 'He found me actually 15 years ago, outside the forum.' And Gerald said, 'I want to offer him an internship.' And Kobe said, 'I thought you might.' Marcus interned with Gerald's company for 2 summers and graduated with his business degree. And Gerald offered him a full-time position in operations management, which Marcus accepted, and in which he performed with the same methodical, focused efficiency he had brought to a wooden shoeshine kit outside a player's entrance. When he was 8 years old, Kobe heard the updates from his director, who heard them from Gerald, who called periodically to say things like, 'This kid is something else, and I was right to listen to you.' And Kobe said, 'I was right to listen to him 15 years ago on a step outside the forum.' The notebook Marcus had kept from his shoeshine years still existed. He had it in a drawer in his apartment in Compton. Every job dated and recorded in the careful handwriting of a child who had understood from the beginning that what you do should be accounted for. Kobe found out about the notebook from his director, who had heard about it from Gerald, who had heard about it from Marcus in a meeting. And Kobe asked if he could see it, and Marcus brought it to a meeting at the foundation office and set it on the table, and Kobe opened it to the first page and read the first entry. March 2001. 1 pair dress shoes, $2 paid in full. And he looked at Marcus across the table, and Marcus said, "I kept track of everything." And Kobe said, "I can see that." And Marcus said, "I always figured if you're going to do something, you should know exactly what you did." And Kobe closed the notebook and set it back on the table and said, "That is exactly right." Gerald Park was 61 years old and had built his logistics company over 30 years, starting with 2 trucks and a contract to deliver restaurant supplies in the San Gabriel Valley, and growing it into an operation with 40 vehicles and 112 employees. He had hired hundreds of people in those 30 years, and he told Kobe 6 months into Marcus's internship that Marcus was in the top 3. He said it that, plainly the top 3 out of everyone. And Kobe said, "What makes him that?" And Gerald said, "He sees the whole system." He said most people see their part, and a few people see the part next to theirs. And very rarely someone sees the whole thing and knows where it breaks down. And Marcus sees the whole thing, and he has opinions about where it breaks down. And he is right. About most of them, Marcus moved out of his mother's apartment in Compton 18 months after joining Gerald's company. He found a place in Hawthorne closer to work, and on the day he moved, his mother stood in the empty room that had been his for 23 years, and Marcus stood beside her, and she said, "I knew you would do something." And Marcus said, "You always said that." And she said, "I always meant it." He called Kobe's foundation director the week he moved to say thank you. And the director said, "You earned everything that came to you." And Marcus said, "I know that, And I'm saying thank you anyway for the introduction for the scholarship, for making the thing possible that I was going to get to eventually, but would have taken longer. And the director said, "That's what we're here for." And Marcus said, "I'm going to remember that and do the same thing when I can." And the director told Kobe, and Kobe said, "Of course he will." The notebook sat on Marcus's desk in his office at Gerald's company. The first entry still readable. March 2001. 1 pair. Dress shoes, $2 paid in full. Every person who came into his office and noticed, it got the same explanation. A shoeshine business. I ran from 8 to 14, and they always asked how much he made, and he always said enough to get started, and they always asked what that meant, and he always said, "It means, I'm here." If this story moved you, drop your city and country in the comments below. And if you believe that the kids who show up serious deserve to be found, please hit that like button and subscribe. Click the video on your screen right now for another story that will stay with you.